Aloha and happy Juneteenth. Thank you for joining us here on This Is Now. We start with the latest on the power outage that continues to impact parts of downtown Honolulu and Chinatown.
HECO says it's made progress and have now restored power for the majority of customers that were affected, but for the hundreds still in the dark, it could be another 12 hours.
As of 10 a.m. Wednesday, electricity has now been restored to about 2,400 customers, but that leaves about 600 who still have no electricity. The outage began just before 9 p.m. Monday when a fire broke out underground. HECO says more than 50 crew members are working on the fix, and they've discovered significant portions of the underground cables melted and fused, requiring painstaking work to replace the damaged wiring. The new timeline for the fix is midnight Wednesday, but HECO says if more challenges are encountered, the outage may continue into Thursday. Most of the remaining affected customers consist largely of small businesses and restaurants in Chinatown.
The first thing I have to deliver is a disappointing phone call or a text message to the party that I'm going to and let them know that I'm going to try my best to kind of fill in what I can.
We really want to thank our customers for their patience. We understand that it's very disruptive to have an outage like this.
HECO also says it's working to upgrade equipment at its Iwilei substation and replace aging underground cables that are more prone to catching fire. Stay with us online and we'll bring you any updates as we get them. We continue to learn more today about a dramatic police chase around Oahu. It stretched from West Oahu to the windward side yesterday, and here's what we know so far. HPD tells us it all began when an armed man robbed someone in the Nanakuli Long's parking lot just before 11:30 yesterday morning. The 26-year-old then allegedly took their car and sped through Eva and eventually onto the H3. Several drivers posted on social media that they saw the man crashing into vehicles or were nearly hit themselves. HPD says he eventually struck another vehicle on Kahekili Highway near Windward Community College and then tried to carjack two nearby vehicles.
He just plowed right in between the two cars. I was at the red light. If I kept on going, I would have got hit. 2-3 minutes later, I noticed when I seen the helicopters and the police siren, I noticed, oh, it's a high-speed chase. This guy is crazy. It's like, there's some Grand Theft Auto stuff going on right now.
HPD says officers arrested the suspect and recovered a weapon. Charges are pending. We're told one officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries. All of this came with no word from HPD while this was unfolding. Meanwhile, police are also looking into an armed robbery at a Waipahu bus stop. At around noon yesterday, a 39-year-old woman was approached by a man with a gun. He then allegedly took her things and ran. No suspect information has been made available. Well, today is Juneteenth, which is one of the newer federal holidays added to the calendar. Natalie Brand has more.
97-year-old Opal Lee led a 2.5-mile walk in Dallas Wednesday, marking June 19, 1865, when after 2.5 years, news of the Emancipation Proclamation reached enslaved people in Galveston, Texas.
July 4th freed the land. Juneteenth freed the people. Don't you forget it.
Lee is considered the grandmother of Juneteenth because she launched the effort to make this day a national holiday, which happened in 2021.
I'm delighted, I really am, that so many of you are celebrating freedom. And I don't mean freedom in Texas and freedom for black people. I mean freedom for all of us.
Now a day to celebrate freedom and to raise awareness about continued inequities.
Unfortunately, there are people who haven't changed, who see things the same way, and that's why we have to continue to get better and grow.
Don Harvey's son Emmanuel launched a clothing business on Juneteenth 1 year ago today.
What message are you trying to send?
Blaze your own trail, and blaze your competition. And your competition is yourself.
A message he's showcasing at this pop-up market in Maryland, where shoppers are supporting black-owned businesses and reflecting on the significance of the day.
If you don't know about history and someone asks you, you'd be pointless. So I think it's really cool and good to learn about our history.
Keeping this history lesson alive is helping engage the next generation in building a better future. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Oxon Hill, Maryland.
A summit overseas is causing concern out in the West. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un today in North Korea's capital after a lavish welcome ceremony. They vowed to build a strong front against the U.S. and deepen their military ties. Elizabeth Palmer has the details.
Kim Jong-un was at the airport waiting for President Putin. The greeting may have been warm, but these are allies of convenience. The so-called strategic partnership they just signed pledges each will defend the other if attacked. But U.S. officials believe Russia, above all, wants a steady supply of North Korean weapons to use in Ukraine. Bad news for the U.S. and its allies.
We are very much concerned about this because this is what's keeping the war going.
North Korea, in spite of the lavish show it put on for Putin, is one of the poorest countries on the planet. It could bargain for Russian food, oil, or more ominously, technology for its missile and nuclear programs. In this summit, the world is watching a dangerous new axis take shape between two dictators who will stop at nothing to stay in power. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
Louisiana has become the first state to require that the Ten Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom. Today, Republican Governor Jeff Landry signed the bill, which mandates that a poster-sized display of the Ten Commandments in large, easily readable font be required in all public classrooms from kindergarten to state-funded universities. Opponents question the law's constitutionality. Several civil rights groups, including the American Civil Liberties Union, promised a lawsuit. Proponents say the purpose of the measure is not solely religious, but that it has historical significance. Classrooms must display the Ten Commandments by the start of 2025. The sports world is saying goodbye to a true baseball legend. Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, passed away at the age of 93. Michael George looks back at his life and legacy.
It was baseball's biggest stage, and Willie Mays knew just what to do. His over-the-shoulder grab in the 1954 World Series is simply known as the catch, and more than a half-century later, it's still one of the most memorable plays in baseball history.
I always felt I could catch every ball that came out there. I believed that I could do anything on a ball field.
And he was right. The Say Hey Kid could run, throw, and hit for power like few others who ever played the game.
For his 512th round tripper.
Over 22 seasons, he belted 660 homers, had more than 3,200 hits, and won 12 Gold Gloves. Mays' professional career began in the segregated Negro Southern League while he was still in high school. Scouts took notice, and the Alabama youth signed with the New York Giants in 1950. It didn't take long before Mays was called up to the big leagues at age 20.
You'd have to be blind if you were a manager and couldn't tell that there was a superstar standing in front of you in Willie Mays.
In his early playing days, Mays lived in New York's Harlem neighborhood, where he often took time to play stickball with area kids.
Mays gets his first hit of the series.
The center fielder moved with the Giants to San Francisco and then came back to New York, capping his Hall of Fame career with the Mets. When baseball fans talk about the greatest players ever, Willie Mays will always be in that conversation. Michael George, CBS News.
The city has confirmed a cyber breach is responsible for bringing down the bus and handy van websites. This is the second breach for Oahu Transit Services in 3 years, and the city says the FBI and HPD are investigating. Routes are still being run, but the city says the website's GPS and the HoloCard have been intentionally shut down to protect people's data. However, it allegedly was already breached. Cybersecurity firm Falcon Feeds posted this screenshot on its social media account that Oahu Transit Services has fallen victim to Dragon Force ransomware. It claims OTS has 9 days from today to pay an unknown ransom for sensitive data.
There was indication from an outside entity that it was a result of an outside actor that had entered the system. That's clear. Whether it was the definition of ransomware or not, that's still under investigation. We have not paid any ransom, and they are methodically, they do have experience in this type of breach before, so they're methodically taking up, putting the system back. Now, part of that is disinfecting hundreds of workstations on the chance that they might hold some kind of virus on them.
That's from the Dragon Force's dark web platform, so where they shame most of these victims.
Falcon Feed says Dragon Force claims to have 800,000 pieces of data. It shared screenshots of that personal information, which includes names and addresses. Hawaii News Now has blurred out the data for this video. The Rail Board is set to vote this Friday on whether to extend the contract for CEO Lori Kahikina. Her $275,000 annual contract expires in January. The mayor and rail contractors want the board to approve a multi-year extension, but board leaders have refused to commit. Kahikina and her supporters say the extension will provide confidence as companies prepare to bid on contracts for the final segment worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Without that confidence, the prices go up.
If they know you're going to be dealing with a difficult owner, one, either you won't bid, or two, you're going to put an astronomical amount in for risk.
Knowing that Lori's there and her directive's down all the way down, we feel a lot more comfortable and confident that we can get this done. And I think it's going to play forward to the next city center.
Friday's Rail Board meeting also includes a vote on leadership of the board itself. Well, summer break is upon us, and if you're a parent who feels you may have missed out on signing up your kids for camp, you do still have options. Camp Homani on Oahu's North Shore still has some availability for children ages 7 to 17. Casey Lund is in Waialua to check it out.
Aloha from the North Shore. This is a very special place. Camp Homani, this is the Salvation Army's camp. Now, their camp starts on June 20th, that's tomorrow, but there are still rolling camps. There's availability throughout the summer, ages 7 through 17. We've been up here on Sunrise. Wave hello to our camp counselors, Captain Mary Ellen. But I want to talk to Meg Miller. She's a nurse here. This is the second time coming back as a nurse. And then Captain Jeff Walters with the Salvation Army. You folks have been in charge of this camp, part of being in charge of this camp for a while now. Tell us a little bit about the camps that are still available, the different types, and kind of when those happen and how long they go.
Absolutely. So we have 6 different camps that we provide this summer, discovery camps where kids come from all across Hawaii to do creative arts and explore and learn more about the outdoors as well as God. But we also provide music camp, and we provide a teen camp, especially at the end of the summer.
I'm quite curious too. This is, by the way, we've been showing people the scenery here on the North Shore. This is gorgeous. What kind of things are available for kids in their downtime?
Absolutely. You know, here at Camp Homani, we're doing the campfires at night under the stars. We're hanging out with the farm animals and gardening, but also we have a huge challenge course, which is an amazing thing for them to, hang out and play with. We're also on the beach, enjoying the sunsets. Yeah. There's so many things to do here.
I see surfboards laying around. I see kayaks. I see hammocks. This looks like a pretty cool place to hang out. Meg, I wanted to talk to you specifically because this is your second year coming back as a nurse. What's special about this place for you, and what do you love most about sharing with the younger kids that come up here?
Yeah, all the kids are just so special, just so ready for adventure and fun, and just like Kiana was saying earlier, it really is like a safe haven for some of these campers, and they're here, they're expectant, they're ready to learn, they're ready to have fun, make friends, and that energy is contagious, and it's awesome.
Yeah, what kind of sets this camp, the Salvation Army camp, apart from other summer camps?
Yeah, well, you can't beat the beauty of it, for sure. As you saw earlier, it's so beautiful. And just also how close the whole staff is. I think that definitely makes an impact on not only our experience as staff, but also the campers as well.
Very good. Meg Miller with us, as well as Captain Jeff Walters from the Salvation Army. We appreciate your time. If you are interested in signing up for Camp Homani, there are still opportunities. You can find all that information. You can register online. We have a link to their website at hawaiinewsnow.com. For now, we'll send things back into the studio.
Thank you so much, Casey, for that. It's Wednesday, which means it is time for our weekly crime roundup with HPD Sergeant Chris Kim. What do you have for us today, Chris?
Yeah, we got 3 cases that I want to highlight. The first case is criminal property damage that happened over in the Aiea area on Sunday, June 2nd, 2024 at about 5:51 a.m. This male right here picked up a rock and threw it into the window at the Our Savior Lutheran Church, causing it to shatter. He's been described as an unknown male, approximately 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing 140 to 160 pounds, wearing a gray long-sleeve shirt and gray shorts. Our second case is an attempted ATM theft that happened at the Pearl City Shopping Center over on Kamehameha Highway on Saturday, June 8, 2024 at about 3:39 a.m. These three stellar citizens decided to try and steal this ATM. They were unsuccessful. They caused a lot of damages, but they weren't able to get away with the money. They then fled in a gunmetal-colored Dodge Ram Crew cab.
So you mean to tell me they got away with actually nothing in this case?
Nothing.
Oh,
nothing.
Wow. Well, that nonetheless left the business to clean up the mess, which
exactly
is
that,
just as devastating. And we have one more as well.
Yeah, our final case is a burglary in the first degree that happened at a residence over in the Eva Beach area on Hanakahi Street on Tuesday, June 4, 2024, about 10:15 a.m. This male broke into the residence and then stole a safe from within. We're using this as kind of a learning tool as well for those of us that do have safes in our home. You want to make sure that you actually not only have the safe, but actually have it secured either down to the floor or into a wall or however way you may choose to anchor it down. But in this particular case, the homeowner did not, and you can see he makes off with the safe. He's been described as an unknown male. All three cases we talked about can be seen over at the www.honolpd.org website, bottom left-hand corner, under wanted persons, as well as other cases that we need help from the community in solving. And also at this moment, I'd like to talk about a press release we issued out a couple weeks ago regarding the phone scam. We're still receiving numerous reports involving victims who are receiving phone calls from someone purporting themselves to be law enforcement, whether it be HPD or the sheriff's office. They're saying that they missed jury duty and that there's a warrant out for their arrest. They sound very convincing and very demanding and very pushy. So oftentimes our victims are feeling a bit overwhelmed, a bit scared, and they feel threatened, and they're actually complying. Unfortunately, they're actually sending over money, they're wiring over money, whether it be the form of Bitcoin or Venmo or Zelle or whatever it may be. I just want to take this opportunity to kind of remind the public that HPD or any law enforcement agency for that matter will never, ever threaten arrest or demand payment over the phone. So please talk to your family members about this, especially our kupuna, especially people who English may not be their first language, or for those of them that may not be watching the news or social media. Please spread the word that this is a big scam going on right now. We received numerous calls. I know at Crime Stoppers we received quite a bunch, and today someone from the Department of Law Enforcement Agency had reached out as well, saying that they had a victim that was scammed out of $5,000.
Wow, that's heartbreaking to hear. Real quickly, can you tell us, if it's often hard to determine what's real and what's not, especially when it comes to these legal matters. Asking for money over the phone is a red flag, but what are some ways that people who receive these calls can say, oh, this really isn't real?
When in doubt, just hang up. Unfortunately, these people are very smart. They're actually spoofing the phone calls as well. So what they're doing is they're downloading an app and they're able to disguise a number. And it looks like that someone from the Honolulu Police Department is calling. Oftentimes, they are using the names of actual officers. I don't know if they're Googling it or pulling up news articles, but they're using actual names of officers and they're providing badge numbers. They sound very genuine, authentic, and very persistent. But once again, when in doubt, it's better just to hang up. If unsure, go ahead and call 911, ask for an officer. They can run a check on you just to make sure that you're not wanted. But once again, we will never, ever, or any law enforcement agency for that matter, ask for money or threaten arrest over the phone.
Sergeant Chris Kim, thank you so much for your work. We appreciate it. Let's send you live outside now as we go to break for a live look at Hilo Bay. Stunning on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. Stay with us after the short break. We'll have a look at your island weather.
It's already windier right now than it was the same time yesterday. 22 miles an hour over in Lihue, 20 miles in Kahului. Ma'alaya might be a little bit windier than that. And going to be windy up in the Kohala area, even though over in Kona it's relatively calm right now. So these streamlines running 15 to 25 miles an hour through tomorrow, getting stronger on Friday through the early part of next week. So the trade winds are here to stay for a while, and that means comfortable humidity levels, pretty good air quality, and nothing in the way of heavy rainfall, although we are taking a boost in the rainfall sometime Friday through Saturday. So Friday night, Saturday, and to some extent Sunday, look for increasing windward and Mauka showers as well as cloudy periods for those windward neighborhoods. Leeward sides, however, we might get some spillover from that, but we're still expecting a lot of sunshine for leeward areas. These are the numbers for Honolulu, 86 every day. If you're on the leeward side, it might be a little bit warmer. If you're on the windward side, slightly cooler.
Texas is starting to feel the impacts from Tropical Storm Alberto, which formed in the Gulf of Mexico this morning. It's the first named storm in what's expected to be a busy Atlantic hurricane season. Dave Malkoff reports from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Tropical Storm Alberto pushed floodwaters onto the streets of downtown Galveston Wednesday. With top sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, it is the first named storm of what is expected to be a very active hurricane season. There was also strong wind and rough surf on South Padre Island, Texas. Even with the center of the storm still hundreds of miles away, bands from Alberto pushed storm surge above sea level in Corpus Christi.
As I feel this with my hand, I can feel that this is 86 degrees right now. That feels like bathtub temperature. And what hurricanes and tropical storms do, and now that we're actually in the season, they take that energy that's in here, that bathtub energy, and they disperse it up into the hurricane. And it's kind of like an air conditioner for the planet, and it redistributes that energy around. And that is the energy source for hurricanes and tropical storms. So the hotter this is, the more of a season that we're going to have.
At a nearby RV park, which is about 3 feet above sea level, crane operator Greg Dowden is riding it out.
I don't know, maybe they'll tell us at work tonight we got to evacuate.
The National Hurricane Center says it expects Alberto to strengthen slightly before it reaches land on Thursday. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Corpus Christi, Texas. And Juneteenth is also an opportunity to learn about how African Americans help shape the U.S. That's the work of a weekly newspaper in Sacramento, and they've been doing it for more than 60 years. Hunter Sowards reports.
On the pages of Black and White, the Sacramento Observer is sharing stories of the African American community in vibrant color.
The history of the Black press stands on the credo of no one else will speak for us. We want to plead our own cause.
That's Larry Lee. His father, Dr. William Hanford Lee, realized no one was speaking for the Black community in 1962. Over the next decade, the Observer built a reputation as the nation's best Black newspaper. That legacy still stands today.
African Americans obviously need to be able to be seen and recognized for our contributions to this country.
It's about educating the community, and holidays like Juneteenth, well, they're a great way of reaching a wider audience.
I'm hoping that we can, as a greater community, outside of the African American community, but as a nation, have a better conversation.
Conversations, Larry says, that are steps toward righting wrongs.
The healing and the reparations of the relationship between African Americans and this country related to slavery is not for our benefit, it's really for others' benefit. It's for their ability to be able to say, we have addressed this as a nation.
Managing editor Angelica Obioha joined in 2021.
The Black experience is larger than, the trauma or the issues or just being disenfranchised. There's joy, there's all the ways that we exist.
Through the years, the paper has pivoted to the digital age, from print to screen, adapting like they always have to tell stories beyond the black and white. Hunter Sowards, CBS News, Sacramento.
And if you want to celebrate the Juneteenth holiday, there's a block party at the Waikiki Shell tonight from 2 to 8 p.m. So enjoy.
Yeah, head on down. We hope you are enjoying this beautiful Wednesday. Ending one more time on this live look out at Hilo. Such a beautiful day.
Aloha.